my name is Paige Webster and I'm a career coach here in Portland, Oregon, and I want to talk to you today about how to get over your resume writer's block. A lot of the clients that I work with, they get displaced out of a job and they haven't updated their resume in 5, 10, sometimes 20 years. And so today I just want to take you through a couple exercises that will help you get something down on paper and have some raw material to work with so that you can finally get started on your resume, because I think sometimes the hardest part is getting started. So what you need paper. I always prefer blank paper. You can even, if you want to save trees, you can take the paper that's out of your recycle bin. It can have something on the back, but blank paper, and then you need a pen or a pencil or even your favorite magic marker. It doesn't matter. Please, you're not going to use a computer or a laptop. We're going to go old school and use paper today. So today what we're doing, we're going to do a series of brainstorms. And so here's what it looks like. Ooh, I have to erase the board. So some of you might be familiar with this technique. It's really just a way to do brainstorms. And what you do is you put your topic in the middle of your paper with a circle around it. Because you know what, your brain works not in the linear way, it works in circles. And so mimicking and drawing the circle actually mimics the way that your brain works. So you're able to tap into the creative side of your brain and let that analytical side that's telling you you don't know what you're doing, just shut it up. Okay, so you put the topic, just a basic demo, you put the topic in the center, and then anything that comes to mind, any idea that comes to mind, any idea that comes to mind, you write down. The idea is that you want to go fast, right? Don't pause and try to come up with the perfect idea. Anything that's in your brain, you're just trying to put onto your paper. So now we're going to do it with actually the first exercise with regard to your resume. So what I want you to do is, the first brainstorm we're going to do is company. So choose your most recent company and the most recent job title you had. Even if you had like 7 different job titles within the same company, just let's for right now go with the most recent company and job title. And I want you to write down everything that comes to mind, anything that comes to mind when you think about company. So it can be, you don't have to be politically correct here. You can say what you really think about your company. So any idea that comes to mind is fair game. So you might think about location. You might think about who your boss was. You might think about hours that you worked. You might think about reputation. Just anything that comes to mind. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, right? So I'm going to shut up for 2 minutes, and I want you to write down anything that comes to mind with the company. That, like, you might have hated it, or you might have loved it. It doesn't matter, just whatever's in your brain, write it down. Okay, now I'm going to pause. 2 minutes, you go. Next brainstorm. Okay, so the next brainstorm, right, is your position that you had. And again, think about the most recent position you had and your roles and responsibilities that you had. So whatever comes to mind. Maybe think about how you started your day. You checked email. Maybe some of the rest of your role was that you had to manage people. Maybe you were somebody who worked with accounting and numbers or data or Excel spreadsheets. That sounds like fun. Or maybe you were part of the creative team, and so you did creative stuff. Maybe you were a problem solver. doesn't matter. But when you come up with an idea, and maybe managing people, what did managing people entail? So go ahead and write down anything that comes to mind about that relates to this bubble. You just make more bubbles. So 2 minutes, you go, I'm going to be quiet. So while you're doing this position brainstorm, here are some questions to think about. What did you do on a daily basis? What did you do on a weekly? Then sometimes you might have had responsibilities that were, monthly or quarterly. Who did you report to? Who reported to you? Now brainstorm, and you can come back to these questions if you get stuck. 2 minutes, that's it. Okay. The next brainstorm we're going to do is going to focus on people and all the people that you came in contact with as part of your job. And there will be overlap with the other brainstorms that we've already done. The reason we do this is that it can jog your memory about things that you did, and can just help you, again, generate more raw material so that when we narrow and focus this to the things you're actually going to put on your resume, we have a lot of information to choose from. So for your people brainstorm, again, you put people in the center and think about who were your coworkers. And just write down as many names as you can, right? And if you can't remember somebody's name, you just put data nerd with glasses. Sorry to all the data nerds out there who, please don't be offended. Okay, so if you don't remember somebody's name, not a big deal, just go ahead and move on. So think about coworkers, think about the clients that you served, and these can be, you might have internal clients, like a different department. You can have external clients. And your clients may be different than the customers you serve. Sometimes they can be different. So who are your customers? So I'm going to be quiet and let you do this brainstorm. And again, any person that you came in contact with that pops into your brain, go ahead and write down their name or a description of them so that you just keep the brainstorm moving. That's the most important thing, is you just keep your brain moving forward. Okay, so I'll be quiet. Brainstorm, people. Okay, so our final brainstorm of the day is on the problems that you probably encountered at your job. So you're gonna, like all the other brainstorms, write problems in the center and think about the kinds of problems that you ran into every day, right? There might have been logistical problems with, I don't know, it could be trucks that broke down. It could be not enough bandwidth. I'm sorry, I'm not technical, so you'll have to forgive me. You might have had another logistical problem. Might be you couldn't get all the right people in the right meeting at the same time because they were flying across the country, right? So I want you to think about any kind of problem that you encountered, that you were involved in some ways. So some might be logistical, some might be technical, right? And if they're technical, I mean, that can be a whole host of things. Could be software, it could be hardware. And then the other, just fill this out however it makes sense for you in the position you had. And then the other type of problem that I think we run into a lot are, what were the kind of people and personnel problems that you encountered. You know, personalities might have been an issue. You know, somebody who was a square peg trying to be in a round hole. Just whatever comes to mind to you. So think about, you know, when you showed up at work in the morning, you know, what did you have to prepare for? What were you trying to prevent from happening? And then when you got there, what were the kinds of things that you troubleshot? So 2 minutes, I want you to just spend 2 minutes thinking about all the problems that you encountered, okay? And then I'm gonna tell you what's next. So go ahead and do that. I just want to recap for you and sort of summarize the steps that we went through. And then in video number 2, I'm going to explain to you how you take this raw material and how you start formulating it into something that you can use for your resume. Because right now we just have, what we've done today so far is generate a lot of raw material. We want to get you past the staring at a blank computer screen or staring at a blank piece of paper, and we just are generating a ton of raw material, okay? So we brainstormed all the thoughts you have about your most recent company. We brainstormed all the thoughts you might have about, or all the things that come to mind when you think about your position, right? Your responsibilities. And you can always add to this later if something else comes to mind. Progress, not perfection. We brainstormed people, all the people that you worked with, even if it's just the guy that you wave to every morning when you walk down the hallway, and problems, okay? So, and this should be, you only spend, here are the rules, right? 2 minutes on every brainstorm. Use a piece of paper, please. Don't try to use your computer and just type it out. If something happens with the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, so just use a piece of paper. And once you have all of this information in front of you, then watch video 2 and I'll tell you what to do with it. But right now, you have way more information. You have gotten over your resume writer's block. So one thing I wanted to make sure, so you've now done a series of brainstorms for one position and one company. And so, and each of those brainstorms is 2 minutes. So, right, this takes like 10 minutes. But then you need to go through that process for the other positions that you've held, right? So you might have held multiple positions within the same company. So go through this. You don't have to go through the company thing again, but just go through the position brainstorm. Again, you might have worked with different people when you had a different position. So go through the people brainstorm again, and then you might have had different sets of problems to, you know, if you had a different position. So do the problem brainstorm again. And you're going to do that for each position that you had, and then you will have, like I said, the raw material for your resume. So you will have you've generated the raw material. Now all we have to do, we have to add some verbs and we have to add some bullet points and make it a little succinct, and then you are good to go. So watch video 2, the second video, which is how to take raw material and make an accomplishment statement. So be on the lookout for that, and I hope you have fun doing the rest of your brainstorm. Okay, thanks. Boom, we're done.